Thank you, Peter in Portland, for getting us started. Hello, beloved church family of the Oakland Center for Spiritual Living. My name is Paul Pursuti, and I'll be your host tonight. I welcome you to our midweek oasis, our Wednesday night service. As you'll be able to experience tonight, our Wednesday night oasis is a place where we come together as a community to be spiritually refreshed between Sundays. Most Wednesday night services build upon the theme of the previous Sunday, sharing in satsang style, expressing science of mind principles and practices with the intention that these gatherings be informal, intimate, and interactive. Our annual theme for 2024 is A Grand Rising, and our new monthly theme for May is From Good to Great to Grand, as printed in the Science of Mind magazine, except Reverend Sunshine last Sunday, in her speaking about the inner landscape, decided to say, we're Oakland Center, it's going to be from good to great to grand to glorious with gratitude. We have 5G energy. So that's what we're celebrating this month. As I said, Reverend Sunshine spoke about the inner landscape last Sunday, and tonight our speaker will continue the exploration of this same topic. So as we gather tonight, I really want to welcome you. When Reverend Sunshine first joined us, she asked us to come to the center well. And to do so, she shared these 6 C's for us to consider and incorporate. She said, when you come to the center, come with a heart of love and tenderness. She calls that compassion. Then she says, come ready to exchange openly. We call that communication. She says, please come in friendship and family. And that is what we're calling camaraderie. Come in harmony and ready to share. Communion. Come in partnership and cooperation. We call that collaboration. And come, most importantly, in spiritual awareness and truth. And she coins that as consciousness. So as we move into our program tonight, these 6 C's are the premise of sharing a wonderful evening with you tonight. If you are new to our community, please visit our homepage at www.oaklandcsl.org and click on the I'm New icon and look at the lower left-hand corner of that page to submit your email address. Once you do, you'll begin receiving the Village News newsletter once a week in your email. It has all the information on what is happening at our center in the coming weeks. Before we get started with this talk, please mute your own microphone. You can leave your camera on, but if you mute your microphone during the service, this will improve the quality of our recording and tonight's transmission. Also, please stay tuned through the end of the service to receive special and important announcements. So it's my great honor to introduce our speaker tonight. She'll be speaking on the inner landscape. It is our very own practitioner, Alice Knutson. Alice is one of our newer practitioners. She's a licensed marriage and family therapist, and she's been practicing that for 29 years. Alice supports the Sunday and Wednesday services, serving on the audiovisual team, and she absolutely loves cats. So, Alice, I'm thanking you in advance for being our speaker tonight. As we do with every organized event at the center, Alice, we open with prayer, and will you be doing the honors tonight?
No, Reverend Allie's going to pray us in tonight. Thank you, Allie.
All right. So let's settle into wherever we find ourselves, just allowing the concerns and circumstances of the day to fall away and letting our breath slow, each breath a little deeper and a little slower than the last. Letting the breath bring us into that quieter place within, that quiet place within in our inner landscape where we encounter that aspect of spirit that is showing up as us, as our own divine self. I am that wellspring of infinite intelligence and divine order and joy and peace. As I know that for myself, I know to each person who's here tonight, each person who listens to this recording later, each one just a completely unique, indispensable manifestation of spirit, showing spirit one of its infinite possibilities, evolving along its own unique path to its highest and best self. I bless this meeting. I bless this coming together in oneness, creating something unique tonight. I know that every word that's spoken by Alice is blessed. It's exactly the right word at the right time in the right way. And even the silences contribute to exactly what each person needs to take away tonight. That as we journey into that inner landscape, we just know that each step takes us closer into alignment with the infinite spirit that is both within and without. Each step takes us closer to our true, pure, authentic, divine selves, waiting to express, waiting to move toward its highest and best expression. And we are so grateful. So I simply speak my word into the law, knowing that it is that same power flowing through me into the law that only says yes and is saying yes right now to our intentions in coming together. I know that we can simply let go and let God. And so I anchor this prayer by saying, and so it is.
So it is. Well, hello, everyone. My name is Alice, and I go by the pronouns she and her. And I want to welcome you full-heartedly to the Wednesday Night Oasis. So thank you for being here, and thank you to everyone who has made it possible for all of us to be here tonight. So this is my first talk at the Wednesday Night Oasis, and so I really appreciate you being here and being part of our beautiful spiritual community. And thank you in advance for all your support. So the title of tonight's talk is The Inner Landscape. And the Cambridge Dictionary defines landscape as a large area of land, especially in relationship to its appearance. And a woman named Ellen Vrana defines inner landscape in the following way. She says that it is a medley of memory, a conjuring of images, a projection of hope, and a topography of self. Our inner landscape is the habitation of the mind's inner eye, the home for the spirit. When I heard the theme for this week's Wednesday Night Oasis, I found myself getting a little bit excited. My immediate association to the inner landscape left me attuning to the word landscape. I thought of plants and gardening and nature, which is one of my favorite places to be. When I am in nature, it feels as though everything is all right. Worries, anxieties, preoccupations seem to disappear within minutes. It is a healing place for me. It centers me and reminds me of my significance and my insignificance as a human being. In nature, I begin to experience myself as a being and not as an identity or an ego. I now find myself as belonging to the wholeness, the oneness of all life. I am in unity consciousness. Why is this so important, you might ask? It is important to me because when I am in a state of being, I am in wholeness. I love to be in nature because it reminds me of the truth of who I really am. In nature, there is no need and no calling to pretend or to be pretentious. Remember when Reverend Sunshine commented on how happy all the gardeners seemed to be? They seemed to be so happy to her. She saw them just pulling the weeds, and she said they just looked really happy. Well, she was right. The first selfless service that I signed up to do at OCSL was to come to the center to water and weed the garden area. Well, there is a vibration of love and light at our center. The watering and the weeding were a form of meditation, and all the prayer and the practices done at our center make a difference in the atmosphere. I remember pulling those weeds and not being willing to leave until every weed I saw was gone. I found myself imagining the joy that would come over each person that walked past the garden and how it might contribute to their sense of well-being. It was an incredible experience for me, and it taught me that when I say yes to God and allow God to use me, it ends up benefiting everyone. So I invite you to ask yourself this question. Are you willing to let God use you for the highest good? I believe it is the silence in nature I'm also drawn to. Nature naturally, no pun intended, draws me in and surrounds me in its energetic, its vibration. Within 5 minutes, I feel more alive, grounded, still, and present. Nature silences me and stills my being. When this begins to happen, I enter into nature's healing power. I begin to slow down and find myself more receptive, relaxed, playful, engaged, and a contentment spreads over me and fills me with a certain joy. It's just simply delightful. These qualities to me are the qualities that are sublime for the makeup of an inner landscape. Nature is love giving back to itself and to all that enters into its presence. The vibration in nature is like a very powerful healing tincture, gifted to us by Spirit. But as I continued to think and to reflect on the inner landscape, I realized there was something else brewing inside. So I stopped for a moment and realized that in my mind's eye, a vision was showing up that my inner eye was just gazing upon. It was a beautiful image. I saw a temple, and it was the most beautiful temple I have ever seen. It was a holy and sacred site. This was my inner landscape. My inner landscape is a private place, as Reverend Sunshine referred to in her sermon on Sunday. And it is my inner temple. Then these words followed. The road to my inner landscape is paved with divine love. Yes, yes, and yes. Of course it is. If God is love, and love is the most powerful force in the universe, of course the road to my inner landscape is paved with love. We come from love, and love is our true nature. What a beautiful metaphor. Ernest Holmes tells us, love is the central flame of the universe, nay, the very fire itself. It is written that God is love and that we are his expressed likeness, the image of the eternal being. Love is self-givingness through creation, the impartation of the divine through the human. Love is an essence, an atmosphere which defies analysis, as does life itself. It is that which is and cannot be explained. It is common to all people, to all animal life, and evident in the response of plants to those who love them. Love reigns supreme over all. The essence of love, while elusive, pervades everything, fires the heart, stimulates the emotions, renews the soul, and proclaims the spirit. Only love knows love, and love knows only love. Words cannot express its depths or meaning. A universal sense alone bears witness to the divine fact. God is love and love is God. And that's Ernest Holmes from the Science of Mind textbook. So my inner landscape is the most precious place in which I commune with spirit. This precious inner landscape is a space from which spirit and I share the deepest of intimacies. This is the inner sanctuary. It is sometimes referred to as the cave of the heart or the inner temple. This is where the power and the presence of the One resides. My inner sanctuary is where spirit communicates with me through intuition, this unseen wisdom that spirit uses to reveal its many spiritual gems to me. My inner sanctuary is where spirit communicates not only through that still small voice inside, but also through dreams and images. Often spirit reveals to me some wisdom that I currently am blind to. I can always know that when spirit reveals something, it is time to listen, because spirit doesn't make mistakes, and I can relax knowing I am in the right place at the right time. I know that this is exactly where I need to be. It is from this inner sanctuary where I am able to reflect and ask for guidance where needed. It is my laboratory for self-exploration and self-realization. It is where the saying, all things are possible through God or spirit, demonstrates itself. I have grown to understand that I depend on the guidance of spirit to reveal to me from the depths within my heart the way to love and to be loved. And it is from this inner landscape, this inner sanctuary, where this takes place. So everyone has an inner landscape. What does your inner landscape look like, and how would you describe it? So why am I talking about all of this? Because it is in this beautiful inner sanctuary that I do a lot of the spiritual work needed to lead me to a grand rising. It is from within that I do the spiritual practices that lead to self-actualization. Ernest Holmes says, it is the recognition of this divine presence which heals, and that all the words used in the process of healing are for the purpose of building up the realization that I am is in the midst of these. So thank you, Ernest, for that reminder that God is all there is, and that we are all one with the One. So to continue with the metaphor, the walls of my inner landscape are adorned with meditation and with acts of selfless service. So let me begin with meditation. In preparation for this talk, I attended another talk given by a woman named Donna Gershman. I initially didn't know I was going to attend this talk, but I had received an email about it, and I kept getting this little whisper in my ear that I needed to attend. I almost missed the opportunity, but ended up there at the very last minute. Apparently, Donna Gershman is quite well known, although I had never heard of her before. I didn't know at the time that this was the case. I just kept getting this intuition that I needed to make sure I attended. So I did. And that's when I realized why I kept hearing that little voice urging me on to make sure I made it to the talk. It became crystal clear what the significance was. When you say yes, then God responds and takes over. And she had some information for me that I believe you might want to hear as much as I did. I thought the speaker was extraordinary. She inspired me. She talked about meditation and described a place that is reached in meditation where it feels so yummy, so good that you simply do not want to leave. She called this place Moreness, Moreness. She talked about how it is from this place that you disengage from the chattering mind, and that when you're in this place, that is God. She said that this is the place in life that runs through everyone and everything. You are allowing God to speak through you. She warned us not to show up from our ego, but instead allow God to do the heavy lifting. When God calls you out, say yes. Allow yourself to be a vessel. Allow God to use you. Say yes to life. Say yes to God. If you identify yourself with this moreness and not as the body or the flesh or thoughts or history, you enter into that perfect pattern of wholeness and goodness. There is only truth, and that is what sets you free. She encouraged us to stay riveted on the moreness, that it is a high vibrational space or place. And when we are in this place, then spirit can do everything and anything. This is the beauty of meditation. It is through meditation we align with our true nature. When I am in meditation, I experience a purification. It is this process of consciously choosing to be present in the moment that brings balance, centeredness, and returns me to wholeness. While reflecting upon meditation, here's what came to mind. Whether or not you realize it, you already have a spiritual toolbox. It is always with you, but doesn't cost you anything to use. You always have access to it 24/7. All you need do is become still. Become still and go within. Still the mind by following the rhythm of your own breath, and the power and the presence of spirit will reveal all that is needed, including the right spiritual tool to be used for any and all occasions that one may encounter. Spirit is with us wherever we go. And perhaps my favorite spiritual practice is seva, which is the Sanskrit word for selfless service. This sacred practice of seva is the gift that continually gives back. What I love about it is no matter how much I give, when I give openly and freely with love, it always gives back even more. It was through seva I learned that I can never outgive God. Seva is love in action. So those happy gardeners, not only are they happy, they're in bliss, immersed in a vibration of love as they serve. And here's what our beloved Dr. Dan has to say. You can't pursue happiness and catch it. Happiness comes upon you unawares while you are helping others. And that's from Guidance for a Spiritual Journey on May 5th. This, to me, describes selfless service beautifully. It is seva that leads us to building a world that works for everyone. When we step out of the way and become that sacred vessel for good, for ourselves and for others, the world becomes a better place and everyone benefits. Karen Walrond, in her book, The Lightmaker's Manifesto, How to Work for Change Without Losing Your Joy, tells us that when looking for a venue from which to serve others, find your passion. And that in order to find your passion, find what brings you joy and serve from that place. Then you can serve the Lord with gladness. And surely this will lead to a grand rising. So my question for you is, what is your love offering for the world? In the last couple of minutes, I want to leave you with something that you can take with you to consider as a means to go from good to great to grand. And as our beloved Reverend Sunshine added on Sunday in her sermon, we're going from good to great to grand to glorious with gratitude, eventually leading to a grand rising. There are a few tools that can help us on the road to our spiritual growth and self-actualization. They are reflection, curiosity, and listening. These are not only tools that help, but they are ones that seem important to me. So with reflection or observation, this is inner work. When we reflect, we take a step back and use our inner eye to look at what is going on. This happens when we engage in contemplation as well as in meditation. The second is curiosity. Curiosity allows us to explore without judgment. In fact, if you find yourself judging yourself or someone else, approach the issue with curiosity. Curiosity is the antidote to judgment. It can lead to a huge opening within and also to playfulness, even laughter. Curiosity can lead us to a lightness that is so important to our growth. And then there is listening. And I'm also talking about inner listening. What is the quality of your listening? How present are you? Do you listen deeply enough to catch the subtleties that might exist? Do you listen to your intuition? I encourage you to take some time and reflect upon the quality of your listening. You may be surprised in what you find. In closing, I would like to say, never forget how powerful you are. You have been blessed with the power to create the world you wish to live in. As Ernest Holmes says, there is a power of good in the universe that is greater than you are, and you can use it. And he tells us that it responds to us as we believe. So let us together rise from good to great, to grand, to glorious with gratitude. For when we understand that we belong to a collective of one, we owe it to one another to share our gems, our inspiration, and etc. with one another. And this act helps us create a world that works for everyone. And so it is. So this concludes my talk for the evening. And now it is your turn. I have some questions. So the first question, did you want to say something, Paul, before I go into the questions?
Absolutely. Wow, 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 wow. Everybody, if we can go into gallery view real quick, can we show our appreciation to our beautiful Alice before she inquires about what we think? Let's tell her. Wow, what a great talk. Maureen is like so excited out in nature there. Everybody, Alice, thank you so much. Great, great talk. Exploring our inner landscape. Wonderful. So you said you had some questions for us to consider for sharing and chatting about. What questions would you like to ask us?
Okay, well, the first question is, as we pay attention to our own inner landscape, what things may rise to the surface for you?
You want to take them one at a time and see what happens?
Sure.
All right.
Alice Herndon, did you have your hand up? Oh, maybe that was just a love sign.
A love sign. So as we explore our inner landscape, what things kind of pop up for us? Is that what you're asking?
Yes.
Yes. Who has something to share on that? Anyone?
Go.
Reverend Allie.
Dorothy, I
Go
just
ahead.
want to say, this is Dorothy, and I just want to say thank you, sweetheart, for a wonderful, wonderful Wednesday night service. You are awesome. And just know that right where you are, God is, and you are just moving through this practitionership, whatever your next goal is. No, God's got your back all the way. You're awesome, sweetheart. I love you.
Thank you and amen to that. Who else wants to share something?
Reverend Allie had that
Allie, yeah.
virtual hand up. You want to share something?
Yeah, just thinking about how in my prayer I talked about, going within being the way to get closer to spirit and my authentic self. And when I realized the first things that come up are all the stuff that's not that. Look, you gotta have to shovel the garbage out of the way. And another thing
Yes. Yeah.
before you can kind of settle.
Thank you, Reverend Allie.
Yeah, I was thinking about weeding my inner landscape a little bit to make more room for goodness to grow.
Ooh, I like that, Paul.
I've got a,
What Reverend Allie is saying, she's shoveling, I'm plucking. So
I gave just quickly, I gave a talk on this on Sunday. One of the metaphors that came to me as I was thinking about it was pioneers who are like clearing the land to use the farmland. You've got to like not only cut down the trees, but haul away every branch, and then you got to clear the underbrush, and then you have to go through and find every little rock that would break your plow and carry them away. It's kind of like that.
and going just a step further before I go to Andrea, in New England, you'll see field rock as the borders that border the properties. So they take those menacing obstacles that they clear from the landscape and they make good use of it.
Mm.
So that's how people separated their land where I grew up in New England.
Well,
Andrea, you had your hand up, and then I'll come over to Maureen. Andrea, you want to say something?
Yeah. So I'm just going to relate an experience that I had maybe a month ago. I was in San Francisco and I was picking up something, and I was on the hills in my car, and I started realizing that in my inner landscape, it's characterized by a lot of worry and lots of worry, and remembering hard things in my life and stuff, and for the very first time in my life, I had this realization that I could question myself. I could say to myself, Andrea, do you really want to go down that path, or do you want to think about things that are going to make you happier? And so then it became a practice after that experience, and it was, for me, it's a classic thing for me where I have an insight that is really quite enduring and helpful. And then there's one other thing I wanted to share. I was talking with someone today who really was sharing their inner landscape. And then I was sharing my inner landscape. And sometimes I say this to people, and it just, anyway, I at the end of our talk, I just said, you are a bright star. And this person, you know, she was just delighted when I said that. And I said, you know, just remember that. And then I said, and we're both bright stars. So
I love that, Andrea. Thank you so much for sharing that. That's so beautiful.
Yes, thank you. So I see Maureen's hand up, and Trisha,
Maureen.
did you have your hand up too, Trisha? Yep, there we go. Okay, Maureen, you're up, darling, if you don't unmute yourself.
Yeah, so great talk, Alice. I've got a lot of things to think about. And one of the things that I really appreciated was you encouraged us to think about how we're listening
Mm.
and about the moreness of life and using meditation to get there. And I think moreness is a really good word. So thank you for sharing that, because it does, it kind of, it elevates the consciousness to a place that just can help expand. So thank you so much. And I'm going to explore that. So thank you.
You're welcome. This woman was, you could feel every atom of her being was alive when she was talking about this moreness. You could feel the vibration. So yeah, Maureen, fill me in once you start experimenting.
Alice, do you want to quickly remind us who that woman was and what her talk was about and how you accessed her? Do you recall that quickly?
Sure. It was, there's something called, Sensational Saturdays. They're for licensed practitioners, and they're the fourth Saturday of every month, and it's online. And this woman's name was, give me a minute, I got to look at my notes. I'll find it, but I'll put it in the chat.
Okay, great. Okay, so we'll move over to Trisha. Trisha, you have your hand up, and thank you, Maureen and Andrea so far.
Alice, wow. Your words were so tender, and I love the metaphor of the inner landscape. And it's funny, when you were talking about it, I'm thinking about how the other people in my life, spiritually, it's almost like we're gardens that are kind of melding into each other. So there isn't just one garden or one landscape. It's like the whole field, the whole world, the whole view opens up when we're together, if that makes any sense. So we're all one, and we each have our own interior landscape, but that landscape is also melding with the people that are our spiritual people who are around us. So thank you. Thank you. I loved it. Really struck home for some reason. Thank you.
I'm so glad. You're welcome. And
Yeah.
that's so insightful what you said. I love what you said.
Thank you. Thank you.
I'm going to
and I love the moreness. For some reason that seems more attainable. So
almost like a panoramic landscape, huh, Trisha?
Exactly. And we're all just kind of part of that one, that we're just blending in to be one landscape. Thank you, Paul.
Love it, love it, love it.
And Alice, I can't believe this was like your first talk. It was amazing. Amazing. Thank you.
Thank you so much. And you're welcome.
And I'm complete.
Thank you. Ms. Peggy Cotton, practitioner Peggy, if you unmute yourself for us.
There we go.
Alice. Beautiful,
Thank
as
you.
I knew it would be. Thank you, thank you so much for all the wonderful reminders.
Mm.
And what I'm going to mention right now is our intuition. Our intuition. That's what your talk brought up so many things about the power of our knowingness.
Mm.
You know, and how when we're meditating, for me, when I'm meditating or just being still, I call that meditating too. Something comes to me that I need to think about, that I didn't deliberately set up attention to think. Something comes to me.
Mm.
So thank you, Alice. Beautiful.
My pleasure.
Wonderful. Reverend Sunshine had to jump off, Alice, but she said in chat, so I'll read it. Great talk. She said, I need to jump off early. Good job. XOXO. And she says, love to all. Have a good evening. So I'm not going to have a good evening. We're going to go from good to great to grand to glorious with gratitude, right,
Yes.
Alice?
Yes, indeed.
He pushed us in from the good land into the great land. Anyone else have something to share for our Alice?
Paul, can you hear me?
Oh, yes, darling. Go ahead.
Well, something happened and excuse me, and I'm not on. I can't see myself. I don't know what happened. But Alice, I just wanted to tell you that was absolutely fabulous. And I also want to tell you that the strength that you get from meditation is so powerful, but we're not always in meditation. So I love the idea when you said spiritual toolbox, pulling yourself into that area. I mean, with life going on, experiences and challenges, you shift. But to allow yourself to be at one pulls you back. And when you talked about being in nature, you can consciously utilize that energy, that openness that comes with nature. And I love that. So you were wonderful. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Dodie.
Someone else? Alice Herndon's gonna speak. Stand back, get ready.
Well, let me see if I can do this for me here. Okay, got me. Oh, Alice, it was just wonderful. Thank you so much. Your talk was just very filled with love, and then you gave us little bits to kind of use as the situation arises. And I really appreciate that, because for me, the situations arise often. And it's just nice to have, little things to think about, and and your descriptive statements, cave of the heart and inner temple. Those are just kind of nice things to help me reorient myself when need be, and I'm thinking that those phrases also carry so much, the cave of the heart. The heart is, just a wonderful place, and just inside the heart, inside the warm, dark heart, the love is just blooming. Anyway, thank you so much. I really appreciated your talk, and I'm really happy to be involved in your speech. It's good job. Good job. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Alice squared. Well, I have another question. We only have a couple. It's almost time.
Go ahead.
Can I ask one more?
Sure.
Okay, this is something that I would love to hear from you all. What is your favorite spiritual practice?
So
All right, Jody, go. And then Alice Herndon.
I I love affirmative prayer. I think it's so beautiful. I love the energy that comes from taking on whatever the issue is or the concern and being able to see that the answer is in the prayer and the answer is it affirms in a way that's positive and uplifting. I think that's my favorite. I'm complete.
Perfect, Jody. Thank you. We're going to go quick here. TC, you have your hand up. Would you like to go next?
Sure. It's simple. It's gratitude and consistent gratitude, like 10 things every night. People are like, oh, 3 is too. It's like, baby, you got to be grateful. You got to start feeling it in your heart. And it's worked miracles for me. I'm complete.
Yes, thank you, TC.
Wonderful, huh, Alice?
Yeah.
Oh, and I'm not complete.
Oh,
That was amazing. I just felt like I was drenched in love sitting here, and it was really, really well done. And from a craft standpoint, as someone who's studied speech writing, it was really good. Nice. It was just excellent. Love you. Now I'm complete.
Thank you, TC. Ms. Deborah Jackson, your hand up, and then we'll go to Andrea.
Yes, I just want to echo what everybody else has said about how powerful your talk was today, in this evening. And my 3 spiritual practices that I absolutely adore is meditation, prayer, but also what has become something that is that is growing me more and more is Dr. Dan. That is a spiritual practice that I give to daily that absolutely grows me deeper and wider in spirit than anything else I can think of. Thank you.
Thank you, Deborah. And for those that don't know about Dr. Daniel Lee Morgan, we meet at 12 noon on our events page. We have a Zoom call that Reverend Sunshine lets us continue to be doing for 4 years. And we read his daily reading of his book, Guidance for a Spiritual Journey. And then we have a very rich discussion, and we meet from 12 to 1 Monday through Friday. So it's part of one of our small groups under the groups part of the website if you'd like to join us for a big deal for about a dozen of us. So thank you for mentioning that, Deborah, and I just want folks to know how to get there if they'd like to join us. Andrea, please, if you'd unmute yourself and share.
Sure. So one of my spiritual practices is just getting better at relaxing. And then I was at the concert recently that what's her first name? Her last name is Demore, right?
Right, Melanie Demore.
Melanie Demore. And it was just breathtaking. She there was one spiritual song that she sang, and there was the juxtaposition of what she said and the awesomeness of the quietness that she imparted and that I could really feel in the whole audience. And so that's a spiritual practice for me. It's been with me a long, long time, is recognizing what seems like opposites, rendering something out in the world, whatever it is, and then also learning the lessons comparatively with of silence, and quietness. That's it.
Wonderful. I recall seeing you there, Andrea. Now I knew you looked familiar. I'm glad you attended. I was also quite moved by the event. It was quite gorgeous. So thank you, everyone that has shared. Is anybody have a burning share? If not, we're going to move on with our program. Make sure, Alice, you take a look at the chat. Everybody is leaving you a little note. If you want to scroll through that while I do the announcements with Peter. But one more time, everybody, since we're in gallery view, just tell Alice how much love we send to her, and grateful for educating us and leading us with love. I think is the highlight of the night. So thank you so much.
Thank you.
I'm gonna get busy plucking some weeds soon. So here we go. Information for all to share. Thank you, Peter, for starting the PowerPoint for us. This Sunday, May 12th, Reverend Dr. Sunshine Michelle Coleman will be speaking on the value-led life. Meditation starts at 10, followed by the service at 10:30. You can join us in the sanctuary, or you can check out our website on services and watch us on YouTube and all the internet stuff that you can do watching from home. On Wednesday, May 15th, at our midweek oasis, join board member Sam Lejean for a deeper conversation on the topic of the value-led life. Meditation is at 6:30 and services at 7 by Zoom. You can go to our website and click on the services icon, and then you'll see the Wednesday night Zoom link there. Join our 2024 daily community spiritual practice, another spiritual practice, Alice, that I think you're participating in as well, using the Abundance Book 40-Day Prosperity Plan by John Randolph Price. Today, we're on the 9th day of the program. We're in our 4th round. We just started it, 9th day. So that means we're using the 9th affirmation in the book. Follow along daily in the order that the affirmations appear. We have a new month, so it's a new nonprofit partner. And this month, it's National Alliance on Mental Illness, or NAMI, N-A-M-I. And they provide support, outreach, education, and advocacy to families impacted by mental illness in Contra Costa County. Their purpose is to advocate at all levels to ensure that all persons affected by mental illness receive the services that they need and deserve in a timely fashion. You can check them out at www.NAMI-ContraCosta.org. May is Asian American and Pacific Islander Heritage Month, and it's observed in the United States. And we recognize the contributions and influence of Asian Americans, Native Hawaiians, and Pacific Islander Americans to the history, culture, and achievements that they have performed for the United States. Mother's Day is this Sunday. Don't forget. Take it from a boy that forgot his Mother's Day once. Took a whole year for me to wear her back, for her to stop wearing on me. So Mother's Day is this Sunday, gentlemen. Don't forget you're the mothers in your life. And it's a celebration honoring mothers and mother figures in society. It is celebrated on different days in many parts of the world, most commonly in March, and we celebrate it in May. The Spirit Treasure Bookstore has begun their May spring cleaning. Please donate your gently used spiritual books this month. Check out the 30% off table. For more information, please go to bookstore@oaklandcsl.org. We have a wonderful group of people that support us here at the center that do all kinds of work, from Reverend Sunshine all the way over to me. So when you see these folks, say thank you. And want you to remember that our operations coordinator is Steve Carter up there. When you've seen a lot of him lately. He's been very busy and active on Sundays. Just give a shout out to him. And of course, the wonderful Dorothy Mendez, who you'll be hearing from a little bit later, Susan, and Reverend Sally, even though she's with us for a short bit more of the time, but make sure you see her. And of course, Dow, doing other things in service you can join us in service as well. Please visit csl.org to see what is happening within our global centers for spiritual living organization. And make sure to explore and visit our website at oaklandcsl.org. Sign up for our weekly newsletter, The Village News. Remember to follow us on Instagram, YouTube, and Facebook for special updates and content you'll only find by liking and subscribing to Oakland Center. Please like us and subscribe. So in this moment of gratitude and graciousness and excitement for what Alice exposed us to our inner landscape, we know from our spiritual practice with John Randolph Price that we are abundant in ways we haven't even seen possible yet. And every day he reminds us of the gifts that we can receive from the universe and how to form a consciousness to be open and expect that. So as I move into the offering, I know that all is well. I know that we are financially and physically and environmentally and mentally and socially and abundant, and we have so much here at the center to enjoy, whether it's weeding as Alice did when she first came, or whether it's participating in the service in some way. Oh, what a gift it is to have your time, talent, and your treasure. So hold that inner landscape close to you, whatever that practice is, and let's bless it by saying joyously, I give, with an attitude of abundance, knowing that as I give, I do receive. So as we bless our offering, remember you have ways to donate financially on our website. Click the hearts up there in the right-hand corner. If you click on that, it'll lead you to the next page, and there's several ways. The donate button up in the upper left-hand corner there for credit cards, or you can use Zelle. The address is there, or you can text the number, it's there. You can also use our mailing address to mail us a little something, or you can join us on Sunday and just drop it in the basket. On Sunday service, Reverend Sunshine started this, and we do an interactive giving moment where everybody that wants to give their gift can come up and stand up and participate in that sense of a giving and abundance by going to the basket instead of the basket coming to us. So we've started that, and I enjoy that practice every Sunday in service. So with that in mind, we're grateful for your gifts, and we're also grateful for the people that help make this event possible. First, I want to thank practitioner Peggy Cotton for doing our meditation, and Reverend Allie for doing our opening prayer. Also, I want to again thank wholeheartedly practitioner Alice Knutson. What a delivery. Tell your friends. This will be posted on our website, on our YouTube section of our website if you want to rewatch it or take a friend to watch it. That should be up probably by Monday at the latest. So make sure to go visit that and share her message with your friends. I want to thank Reverend Sally Bartholomew, who stepped in, has helped me co-host Wednesday nights. We want to thank her so very much. She's on the road. She's going with Dave to check out her possible new home. She's in Flagstaff, Arizona, and she checked in at the pre-service, and she's on her way to Colorado Springs, where they're looking for a rental home as she gets ready to assume the pulpit there. So we don't have her for much longer in our realm because we have decided that we're abundant with Reverend Sally and we can share her with the world. So make sure if you see her, give her an extra hug. I also want to thank our fabulous senior minister, Reverend Dr. Sunshine Michelle Coleman. She gives us this platform. She lets me do this. And I'm so grateful, so grateful. And then there's the people behind the scenes, those AV people. Tonight, leading us on the PowerPoint and all the buttons that need to be pushed. And Lord knows I have self-installed several of my own that I push myself. but I'm glad when Peter takes over pushing buttons for me. Peter in Portland, thank you, Peter, for pushing all the correct buttons. Alice Herndon, as always, fabulous on spotlighting. Miss Peggy stepping in tonight, doing double duty, meditation and the muting and filling in on the AV team for Alice Knutson so she could speak. And a big shout out to our administration support person upstairs, I say upstairs at the center, Steve Carter, that puts up and brings all this together for us. So as we close every event, just like we start with prayer, and tonight, Alice has asked the Ministry of Prayer leader, practitioner emerita, Dorothy Mendez, to close us in prayer. Dorothy, will you take us home, please?
Absolutely. Let us all just take a deep breath and just release it with the awe. Giving thanks for this time together. Giving great thanks for our wonderful, wonderful speaker today, practitioner Alice Knutson. Giving thanks for this journey that she has said yes to. Being a practitioner and bringing her love, bringing her light to our community. We are so grateful and so thankful to have her in our community, and giving thanks for the words of wisdom that she has given us today to contemplate, to enhance our lives. Giving great thanks for each and every one who has participated in this sermon today. We give thanks for Peter in Oregon, who just continually supports our Centers for Spiritual Living, regardless of where he is. Thank you, God. Thank you, God, for our beloved Peter and all that he does for us. Thank you for our Paul Pursuti, who just says yes. Reverend Jeff always says no is a complete sentence, but our beloved Paul has not learned that yet. It's always yes, yes, yes. And I thank him. I thank all the classmates who have showed up to support our beloved Alice today, giving great thanks that we are transformed and renewed by the words that were spoken by our beloved practitioner today. So I know for each and every one of us that there is something great happening for each and every one of us. And we say thank you, Mother, Father, God, for this and for the more. And as I release this word into law, the law that always says yes, I say thank you. I let it be. I let God. And together we say, and so it is.
And so it is.